for all of us. So I'm going to be extremely forgiving and understanding about a lot of issues that you guys are going to have, because let's be honest, I'm having my own issues. You know, we're all doing the best we can at this point. So I got several people that messaged me about the homework, which I loved. That's exactly what I want you to do. But you guys were being a little too panicky. Okay. First of all, now Google Forms, for the most part, really mess up, not as much as most things, which is why I have a tendency to use them so much. I'm not saying that they don't ever mess up, but 99% of the time, they usually function pretty well, which is why most of your assignments are going to be that way, because they work on any device and they don't crash. I mean, they do crash occasionally, but not anywhere near as much as other stuff does. So let me talk to you about the couple of things that I got the most messages about, so that maybe we can kind of avoid stress on your part, you know, and you don't need to, you know, ask me in the future. So the first thing I got several questions about was, don't forget that you can't submit your work if your answer is wrong. So I'm looking at number 1. Let's say, okay, so it's asking for the highest. First of all, can you guys can see okay? Can you see the homework up on the screen right now? I'm going to keep checking to make sure.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so this question is asking you for the high score. We all know that it's 102 according to the box plot, but let's say that you just have a brain cramp moment and you get it confused with the median. So instead of typing 102, you type 88. So a couple of you guys, saw you got the answer wrong. You emailed me at like 10 something last night, which I totally get, because you're not an old lady like me. You're probably still up. You're still doing that work in plenty of time for the deadline, because it's not due, until we start class today. I'm not saying I'm going to answer your question right then, because when a couple of you guys messaged me, I was dead asleep. If that happens, big thing, do not panic, okay? If I don't answer you right away, it really could just be because I'm asleep or, having something else going on. I do typically get back to you very quickly, but, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, probably not going to happen. So all you need to do is send me a message and say something like, man, I've been doing number 1. I look back at my notes. I thought I knew how to do it. I keep getting the wrong answer. Will you help me? And absolutely, that is not a problem. The key is making sure that you reach out to me before the deadline. So all you need to do in a case like that, so you don't hear back from me for a little bit, remember that if you try to click submit, it's going to bounce back to that wrong answer. It won't let you submit it if it's wrong. So in a case like that, if I haven't responded to you yet and you haven't gotten a chance to fix it, just delete that question and then go ahead and submit it, because you can submit blanks. You just can't submit wrong answers. And I swear, on God, you've messaged me before the deadline. I know you're having a hard time with that question. You will be able to go back and you'll be able to edit it once we've had a chance to touch base. So please don't panic about that kind of stuff. Also, if yours happens to crash, again, that really almost never happens. That's why I really like forms, but occasionally it does. Message me right then and there and say, man, my stuff froze up. I'm not sure what happened. And I will give you an extension. Now, what I'm not going to have patience for is I put in grades and then you a week later you're like, oh yeah, I had a problem with it that day. I'm not going to be dealing with those kind of issues, like you telling me 2 weeks later, oh yeah, it crashed on me. Reach out to me right away. You can either add a comment to the assignment, you can send me a text message, you can email me, any of those methods, and I promise, do not panic. We'll figure it out, and you don't have to worry about late credit. So of course, what is your question? Thank you for answering that, or for asking that question, because I should have actually done that on my own. I should have brought it up without you having to remind me. So you're going down, that's the other thing that is kind of tricky about these Google Forms. So I love them because they can, help you to figure out if you're doing it right as you're doing it. But in order to make the formatting work so that it tells you, it's kind of picky. Like you have to type it in a very specific way. So, oh my goodness, thank you for bringing this up. Because I get this question a lot and I should have already thought about that. So notice right here where it says enter. So you've got to pay attention to the directions. In fact, that would probably be the first thing I would check. If the answer tells you that you're wrong, but you're pretty sure you did it right, the first thing you should do is double check and make sure that you followed the way the directions told you to type it in there. So let's just say, because I know some of you guys are still working on this, I'm just going to make up a couple answers. Let's say this tells you to type it in Q1, comma, Q3. So let's say that the Q1, I don't know, is 6, and then the Q3 is 9. It says to type it in Q1, comma, Q3. So you'll literally type it in as, and I know this is going to tell me I'm doing it wrong, but so you would literally type it in as 6, comma, 9. And that happens a lot for a lot of assignments that we have. Pay attention to those. I'll typically ask you, like, if there's more than one answer, especially when we get to more advanced math, there are a ton of problems that have more than one answer. So I'm typically going to ask you to do something like that, where I ask you to put the smaller number in, and then a comma, and then the larger number. Does that answer your question? That was a great question.